Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and guests, to my last session of my Rock Your Path series, How to Become a Distinguished Toastmaster. I'm Jamie Richter, and I worked with Sara Leiste this year to help fellow Toastmasters get started with pathways. As we were reaching out to members, we realized that helping with technology was just part of the solution. We took the feedback that we received from members and put together this 6-part series to help fellow Toastmasters rock their path and get the most out of their Toastmasters experience. We started these with finding the right path to reach your goals. Then we talked about how to come up with speech topics. After that, we talked about those awkward speeches. Then we talked about how to evaluate your progress and move forward with the electives. Last month, we talked about the different projects available within Pathways. And then today, we will talk about how you can become a Distinguished Toastmaster. We'll start with what the award is, then I'll go through the different steps that you have to take to become a Distinguished Toastmaster. Lastly, I'll break these steps down and then recap what the last steps are. Toastmasters International started a long time ago at the YMCA with Ralph Smedley. His goal was to help the men that he was supporting get better at their public speaking, communication, and leadership skills to help grow their career. He started with the first 10 speeches in the Competent Communicator Manual. And then this eventually evolved to the Distinguished Toastmaster Award, which was a great way to recognize people that have that experience that will help them go into the workforce as a leader. This has evolved a ton since Ralph Smedley's time, but the premise still fits today. We're really trying to help our members build the skills to help their organizations thrive. I'm going to read a passage from the Club Officer Training that I really feel explains the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. I wasn't born a leader. They were all around me, though. In the community, at work, at school. Leaders were everywhere. They were the heads of families, coaches of teams, business leaders, mentors, organizational decision makers. I admired these leaders. They influenced who I was and who I was becoming. Whatever they did professionally or how they became what they were, I aspired to walk in their footsteps. And so I committed myself to becoming one. Finally, it came to me. It wasn't just what leaders knew that enabled them to lead. They had a voice. They could tell their story. They could listen and answer. They didn't just accomplish, they communicated. So I set out to find my voice, learn to process information on my toes. I needed to learn to listen, learn to give feedback, and accept it. I needed to organize, plan, deliver, and follow up. I needed a place where all of the ingredients were there and someone would guide me along the way. I found that place. I found a community of learners and the path to leadership. I am a leader and I was made. That is powerful. Toastmasters International has helped me build the skills to become the leader that I looked up to and to keep building my leadership skills and doing more and more than I ever thought I would accomplish. There are several things that you need to do to achieve this goal, and there's often some things that you feel like you will never use, but will allow you to stretch and will allow you to take on more things than you ever thought you would. Let's talk through the steps and the requirements. The first requirement is to complete 2 learning paths. The second is to serve as a club officer for 12 months. During that term, it's very important that you help prepare the club success plan and you participate in a district-sponsored club officer training program. One thing to note here, some clubs do 6-month terms. You can do 2 6-month terms or 1 12-month terms. And those 6-month terms don't need to be in a row. The third piece is to serve a 1-year term as a district officer. The fourth is to serve successfully as a club mentor or coach. One thing to note here, there was a promotion done by Toastmasters International to encourage people to take the club coach role, where for the years 2019, 2020, and 2021, If you successfully completed your club coach term at the end of that Toastmasters year, your club coach role would also count as a district officer role. The one catch to this is the fact that you do have to work with world headquarters directly to get credit, as it's not an automatic piece. There were also some other promotions in the past that you'll work with world headquarters to get credit for. Next, you'll serve successfully as a club sponsor, or you can conduct a Speechcraft or conduct a youth leadership program. And last but not least, you'll complete the DTM Project. These things don't have to all come in a row. You can do them as makes sense for your situation. The one thing that is requested is that DTM Project happened at the end, because it's really that capstone that encompasses everything that you worked on during this process. Once you're done with all of these steps, then you'll fill out the Toastmaster Award application. You'll have your club name, your information, the different steps, and when you've completed each one of those, you'll have a club officer sign, and then you also have, if you want to send a letter to your employer, you'll put that information in. All of this information is on the Toastmasters website. Let's break these down. We're going to start with the different paths. You have to complete 2 paths to complete the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because most of the program is actually focused on these 2 learning paths. But if you're not sure which ones you want to use for your particular situation, go back to that first video where we talked about how to find a path to reach your goals. The second requirement is to serve as a club officer for 12 months. This is very important for your club, as your club needs leadership to keep going strong. This also helps you. You get to learn leadership and communication skills through experience. You get to find your voice in a safe place and receive feedback from your club. During that term, you'll participate in creating a club success plan that will help you set goals, communicate with your executive committee, review your progress, provide recognition to other club officers as well as other club members, and debrief the club on your progress. During club officer training, you'll learn more about your role. You'll learn leadership skills and concepts. You'll learn best practices, and you'll get some networking. This is something that we offer twice a year to our club officers, and I highly, highly, highly recommend you attend. You are required to attend at least one during your term. There are 7 club officer roles available to clubs. The president, who's really the guiding mentor for the club. The vice president of education, who helps people reach their education goals and helps the club keep their agenda in order. The vice president of membership helps new guests become members. The vice president of public relations keeps everyone aware of what the club is, what they're doing, and the benefits, and they help bring in new guests. Our secretary runs the meeting minutes and any club correspondence. Our treasurer runs the finances for the club. And last but definitely not least is our sergeant at arms. They're the ones responsible for all of your club's assets. They oftentimes are the ones setting up the meeting space and cleaning it up at the end. And they often help out with several events that the club does throughout the year. You also need to serve 1 year as a district officer. To help you understand what's available there, I'm going to go through the hierarchy of areas within Toastmasters. It all starts at the top with our members. Our members group together into clubs that lead themselves with their own executive committee. We put together our clubs in groups of 3 to 6 called areas. And we recruit people to be area directors to help lead those clubs. They're going to visit the clubs, help out with different things like officer installation or different requests that the clubs have. They'll help with club officer training, help with contests, and provide feedback to the district as well as Toastmasters International coming from the clubs. This is a great way for you to start in a district officer role. Our areas are grouped together in divisions. There's 3 to 6 areas within a division, We recruit division directors who typically have taken on that area director role that are able to coach the area directors, mentor them, help and support them however is needed. They also oftentimes run club officer trainings as well as contests. Our divisions are put together into districts, and district is a much larger group with a district executive committee to help the club members get support. You have the district trio, which is the district director, the program quality director, and the club growth director. Their goal is to help bring in new members, bring in new clubs, make sure the Toastmasters program provides a lot of value in the area, and make sure that the members are getting support from the district. We also have several support roles: the administration manager, the finance manager, public relations manager, and the immediate past district director. These are all roles that you can take on within the district. Above and beyond our district, we put districts together into regions, and there's a region advisor that's a good liaison between the board of directors and the regions. They provide a lot of coaching and support. Above and beyond there, every year, Toastmasters, the members and the districts vote on the international officers for Toastmasters International. That is a really cool role for those that take on that spot. And then we get support from World Headquarters. You'll also need to serve successfully as a club mentor or a club coach. It's very important for any organization to continually bring new members in and help support them during that transition. For all of our new clubs, we assign up to 2 club mentors that meet regularly with the club for 6 to 12 months to help the members build the skills that they need to start leading their club on their own. I want you to think about when you started with Toastmasters. You probably had a mentor that helped you understand the customs of the club, the roles, how to sign up, get started with the program. These new clubs don't have that. They don't know what Toastmasters is, how to run a meeting, what resources they have. Those mentors are really going to show them, here's an example of a club meeting. Here's some things for you to think about. They get feedback from the club on how they want to run their meeting, and they give feedback to the club to help them build that quality club meeting. We also have a role called club coach. This is an experienced Toastmaster that's officially assigned by the district director to work with a struggling club. By struggling club, I'm referring to a club with 12 or fewer members that has requested help from the district to help them become distinguished. This assignment lasts till the end of the current club year, June 30th every year, but you'll get credit when that club reaches distinguished status or better by that date. If you haven't received distinguished club status, the assignment is extended to the end of the next club year, so June 30th. These are very important roles for Toastmasters to help our members in clubs get benefits from Toastmasters, but it's also a great experience for you to learn how you can help other organizations that you work with. You'll also need to serve successfully as a club sponsor or coordinate a Speechcraft or a youth leadership program. I'm going to break down each one, but you only have to choose one of these. The whole purpose of these is helping you learn how to recruit new members, how to bring more people into your club or organization. A new club sponsor is someone who helps a club get started. They identify a potential club, they sell Toastmasters as a potential opportunity for them, help them find a location, recruit members, help them get the fees collected, and go through the charter paperwork. A new club may have up to 2 sponsors and 2 mentors. And there's a ton of support on Toastmasters International, as well as from our club growth director. Speechcraft is another thing that you can use. Speechcraft is essentially a boot camp for Toastmasters, where you're given materials to help you recruit 5 people and be a coordinator of a 4, 6, or 8-week session of Speechcraft. It's now a digital experience, so it'll be similar to Pathways. They'll have several projects that they can work through, and you as the coordinator would set that up You'd have access to the marketing materials, you'd have access to assign people this program, and to get the information you need to delegate different roles to the club that you're helping. There are a ton of resources on this on the Toastmasters International website, including a new webinar with a new digital experience. The nice thing about this being digital is Toastmasters International tracks your completion for you. You don't have to remember those dates. And it helps bring in new members for your club. Oftentimes, after they're done with the boot camp, they're asking, how do I get more? And then you talk about the Toastmasters program and how they can join your club. Last but not least is that youth leadership program. This is very similar to Speechcraft, but more focused on our youth. It typically consists of an 1 to 2 hour sessions that enable young people under the age of 18 develop their communication and leadership skills through experience. Oftentimes you're presenting this after school or on weekends, but they're able to learn skills just like you and I on doing speeches, giving impromptu talks, controlling their vocal variety, their voice, their gestures, and giving constructive feedback. There's just a lot more education within the youth leadership program on things that most adults have already gotten experience with. Remember, you have to choose one of those 3. You can do more, but you have to do at least one. And then lastly, you have the DTM Project. If you've ever done an educational course, you've probably had to do a capstone that encompasses everything that you've learned so far. That's our DTM Project. The goal for this is to plan and complete a project that benefits an organization and allows you to lead a team. It could be any organization, nonprofit or profit. It could be Toastmasters if you want. The idea, though, is to choose something that doesn't already have guidelines, something that you really have to plan, create, and lead. You'll start with a 5 to 7 minute speech in a club meeting to share your plan. Throughout the project, you'll recruit your team, organize the plan, lead your team to complete the project. You'll ask for a 360-degree evaluation from your team and potentially the organization. And then you'll do an 8 to 10 minute speech to the club, reviewing your project, its outcomes, benefits, and lessons that you've learned. One thing that I constantly get with this is, I don't see it. How do I find it? This is something that doesn't pop up within your Basecamp until you request it. After you're done with the first level and the first path and the first 3 levels of the second path, you can then request it from World Headquarters and they'll put it in your Basecamp. The reason for this is because they don't want you to start Toastmasters and jump straight to the DTM project. They want this to be a capstone of everything you've learned so far. You can't do that if you haven't learned anything so far. So that's the purpose behind that. And some of the things that I've seen people do for projects are projects for work. If you do that, be mindful of private information and use Toastmasters that are either in the organization, or be mindful of the information that you're sharing with your team to make sure you're not giving out private information. Nonprofits, it's very common to see a fundraiser or event for a nonprofit. I'm also working with someone on her DTM project. She works as a PCA with someone with autism, a young adult trying to transition to adulthood with some challenges with autism. She put together a team of people that have a variety of experience that can help her with this project. She communicated with us what she's trying to do, some of the different challenges she's trying to help with, and then she wants to put this guide together for other PCAs or family members. We divvied up the different pieces that she's looking for, and we do a monthly update on our progress. That's a huge project, and it's something that I'm very proud to be a part of, and she's very excited to provide to the community. If you're looking to figure out what that project is and you're stumped, talk with fellow Toastmasters, your mentor, other mentors outside of Toastmasters. Talk with your boss. Is there a project at work that you could use for this project, or any nonprofits that you're working with? I also see a ton of ideas on the Toastmasters International Facebook page. Oftentimes people will ask, what are people doing for the DTM project? People will post, here's what I'm thinking for my DTM project. What are your thoughts? The most important thing while you're working on this is to remember that this is for you. This is your project. This is your development. Sometimes people get nitpicky in specific words, and I don't think this fits, or this should be this project, or whatnot. You focus on you. You develop your skills, be honest to yourself, and use this as an opportunity to stretch yourself and grow. Once you're done with all of that, you'll fill out an application on toastmastersinternational.com with your information, your club, the different steps that you took. One thing that's helpful when you're on the website and you click on where it says welcome in your name, that's a profile. It has your member number, which I know I can never remember, your club information, and it shows when you finished your paths, when you've taken on a club officer role, a district officer role, club coaching. A lot of that is already in there. There are some things that aren't in there. You'll want to note when you did the club success plan, when you did a club officer training. If you did a youth leadership program, you'll also want to put that in there. Once you're done with that application, you'll get a signature from a club officer and send that into Toastmasters International. Then you'll watch for that award in the mail. It could take a couple weeks, it could take a month, depending on when you process. One thing to note, June 30th is the end of the Toastmasters year. If you're sending it in right at the end of the year, it may be a little slower to get that. Last, but most importantly, I want you to be proud of this accomplishment and share your experience. The Toastmasters program is here for you to develop your skills. I want you to share that with your world. Here are the things that I can now do. Here's how I can better the organization. Take pride because that is a huge accomplishment, a lot of work, and you've gained a lot of experience in the journey. Thank you, everyone, for attending my Rock Your Path series. If you want to go to the replays, go to d6tm.org to the Pathways session. If there's anything else I can help with, don't hesitate to reach out. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you rock your path.